Today, I would like to talk about something that I call relationship dynamic. Every relationship on this planet between two people, between two male friends, two female friends, two lesbians, two gay guys, hetero relationship between a man and a woman, doesn't matter. Every relationship on this planet, even between you and your children, has what I call a relationship dynamic. And what that is you explain to each other what you can stand and what you can't. And if you can't stand something, you have to tell them. Because what it evolves into, if you don't do that, will make you miserable forever. And I'll give you examples. It's very common when talking with your friends, I'm sure, for them to complain about their significant other. Like all he does is get drunk every night, or all he does is, smoke weed all the time. And all she wants to do is go out clubbing and swallow 10,000 dicks, right? Well, if you've never told her that that's what you don't want, then you have accepted that into your relationship. And this even crosses over, in my opinion, into psychological or physically abusive relationships. If a woman hits a man and he doesn't do anything about it, he doesn't say anything about it, he doesn't end the relationship, or at very least threaten to end the relationship, then he has accepted that that's an acceptable thing between them. And I consider any physical violence wrong, morally wrong. However, they have accepted that it's worth it in their relationship. The same thing goes the other way. If a man is hitting a woman and she's always complaining about it, but she stays with him, then she has accepted that that's an acceptable thing between their relationship dynamic. And even though I consider it morally wrong, since she has accepted it, what are you going to do? Nothing. What are they going to do? Nothing. They're going to complain about it forever, but they're going to sit back and take it. The same thing goes for all sorts of different issues. She spends too much money, or, he's a cheater, but she stays with him, or she's a cheater, but he stays with her. You should always tell people in your lives what is acceptable to you and what isn't, where your boundaries are. If they cross that line, knowing what your boundaries are, then they are knowingly sacrificing their relationship with you. And this doesn't matter what relationship they are to you. They could be your mother or father. They could be your children. If they cannot respect your boundaries, and you have reasonable boundaries, you must have reasonable boundaries. You can't expect people to live up to godlike standards. But if you have reasonable boundaries and they can't respect them, then they are choosing to end their relationship with you. I heard a famous quote recently, and this makes a lot of sense to me. And it says, family is the only relationships that you can't choose in your life. And that's true. When you grow up, you get to choose your mate, decide who you want to be with. You get to choose, well, at least a woman gets to choose. Men have no reproductive rights. But we're not going to get into that in this video. If they want a child or not, right? They get to choose that. Men don't get to choose it, so I feel like there's a little bit more leeway with them and how they react to a child and deal with a child. They had no choice. So it's another aspect of family is the only relationship you don't get to choose. We don't get to choose our mother and fathers. Many of us have shit fathers and shit mothers, right? Or several fathers, reel and step, and several mothers, reel and step. It's ridiculous. And all this is because these people cannot have reasonable relationship requirements and hold their significant others to these relationship requirements to the point where the relationships are breaking down, they're miserable and they're still together, but they hate each other. You see all sorts of stuff like this. I believe that if you have reasonable relationship requirements and the person you are with, who you had full choice in being with them, meeting them, asking them out, continuing a relationship with them, if your relationship dynamic is acceptable between you two, things are going to be a whole lot better in your life. You're going to be a whole lot happier. It's one less thing that you have to be stressed about. The same dynamic rolls over into friends as well. If you have friends that disrespect your relationship dynamic, you should first and foremost establish what your boundaries are. I don't like it when you do this. I don't like to be treated like this. And then be ready to put your foot down if that line is crossed. The same thing goes in your significant other relationship. That is also the other hard part about this is that when that line is crossed, you got to flip your shit. You have to be willing to do what you said you were going to do. Because believe it or not, especially with women, they love to push boundaries. They push and push and push till they get a reaction, then they back off, but as soon as you calm down, they go right back to pushing. That's how they do. That's how they're trained to do. And dudes do it too. I don't see the frequency of the females with dudes, but dudes do it too. They're no exception. And you have to be willing to put, boots on the ground and be willing to fucking be an enforcer of your own dynamic. So, in summary, many people out there bitch and moan about their significant others, about their children, about their mothers and fathers, but they never do anything about it. The person they tell is never a person who can do anything about it. So all they do is get all their friends to hate their other or hate their family or whatever. Meanwhile, they sit back and they just deal with it. And in my opinion, then they have accepted that into the relationship dynamic. And even though from the outside it's morally wrong, they have decided it's morally acceptable. And so they get exactly what they've put in, exactly what they're willing to deal with. Because if they couldn't deal with it, they wouldn't be there, right? And if they wanted it different, you'd think they would try something different. You'd think they would try to fix it. Relationships are probably the hardest thing in this world to deal with on the daily. But we all have to do it. I hope this helps anyone out there who is having issues. If you have any ideas, yay or nay, contrary, or in agreement, let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I read them all, and I'd be glad to hear your feedback. Thank you, YouTube. Till next time, I've been Socrates. Peace.